I was like, okay, that was.
It is 7:02, so we will get started. I'll call this meeting to order at 7:02, 7:03. Thanks all for your patience. Can we start with roll call?
Chair Magana,
Present.
Vice Chair Ramos, Commissioner Banks,
Present.
Commissioner Westphal,
Present.
Commissioner Reyes, Commissioner Gardner,
Here.
Commissioner Mendoza, Commissioner Kelly, Commissioner Jolly, here, Commissioner Guru,
Here.
Commissioner Brown,
Present.
Commissioner Allen,
Here.
Commissioner Seller, and we have quorum.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thanks again, folks, for being here. As a reminder, we are on video recording as well, so thank you, folks, for tuning in. We will move on to item 2, which is our consent calendar. May I have a motion to approve items A through E?
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any discussion for items A through E? As a reminder, some of these are from our previous meetings when we were here together. Any questions? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All abstaining? Motion passes. We will move on to the public record. Do we have any correspondence?
We did not receive any correspondence.
Wonderful. We'll then move on to open forum. Do we have any folks from the public, whether in person or online, who would like to participate in public forum?
Yes, we have 2 raised hands virtually.
As a reminder, folks, you'll have 2 minutes.
Our first participant is Paul Soto. Please speak.
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. As a point of order, you must
That's
always.
for Mr. Soto.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
You may be on mute, potentially.
I'm not on mute. Can you hear me?
All right, Mr. Soto, we'll check in with you. We'll go to the next speaker, and then we'll make sure we get a chance to get to Mr. Soto so we can hear.
Okay, our next speaker is Lillian Coyne.
I'll just wait a second. I can hear Mr. Soto clearly. I'm.
Oh, yeah, now you can hear me, huh?
Yeah, I can hear Mr. Soto clearly.
We
But
apologize. We had you on, the speaker was on, wasn't on, so apologies. We will go back to Mr. Soto to make sure he has opportunity to speak. Sorry about that, Mr. Soto. You'll have 2 minutes. Did we lose you?
A second ago.
Who's going?
Mr.
Go ahead,
Soto.
Mr. Soto.
Look, Mr. Magana, I don't want to start this with you again, bro. Okay, I don't want no glitches.
Soto, you have the
I don't
floor.
want no glitches, brother. Okay, now let me, as a point of order, you have to take public comment on the consent calendar. This is standard. Now, you've done this before. You've done it before. Now, I would like to go back because I have some comments for that consent calendar. But I'll comment, I'll take my time right now for public comment. Now, we are at a very critical point, a very critical juncture in our evolution as citizens in San Jose. We have a large portion of our population that has got a bullseye on them, and they're going to be getting gentrified out of here. Now, I'm sure none of you are consider yourselves the ones with a bullseye on them, but there is a history of not underserved. We are not an underserved community. We have been deprived of resources over generations that necessarily created poverty because there was racial segregation going on in this city that was consistent with what Jim Crow was in the South. Hello, is somebody laughing? Is somebody laughing? I don't know. Is something that I'm saying funny? Is Jim Crow funny to the Chicano? All right, I didn't think so. I didn't think so. So what I'd like to see now is some serious thought towards what are we going to do about the deficits that were created by this racialized system that deprived resources. We weren't underserved. We were racially segregated. And we were, by force of law and by force of the policeman's club, deprived of resources. What I want to know is, what are you going to do about that?
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Your 2 minutes are up. We'll go on to our next public or open forum speaker.
So Lillian,
Yes, I'm just calling because I go to the Berryessa library all the time. I really like that library. I was wondering if you could put like a coffee shop back in there. I think you used to have something similar to that in the library. And then with the millions of dollars you get in construction tax, the other issue is that the pond basin over there, or the pond where the ducks used to go, is still completely empty. And I don't know if that has anything to do with your taxes that you get for construction for 14 million. And if you could repair that particular area near the Berryessa library, because a lot of students go there after school, and it's kind of just desolate right now. Before, you used to have families walk there, and it was nice to look at, and now it's just a blank slate of pretty much nothing. So if you could look into that, I'd appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you for your public comment. Do we have any other speakers for our open forum?
we do not.
All right. No one in the public. We will then move on to item B, discussion items. We'll go to our first item, which is an information item, our youth commission announcement. Turn the floor over to our wonderful youth commissioner.
Podium if you're more comfortable.
So, hello everybody, my name is Tisha Huang and I'm the chair of the San Jose Youth Commission. I'm pleased to provide you a brief report of the recent activities that the San Jose Youth Commission is doing, particularly the successful Youth Priority Survey and the exciting events planned for the beginning of this year. First, the Youth Commission completed a comprehensive Youth Priority Survey in November, reaching out to teenagers all around San Jose. The survey yielded an impressive response, gathering nearly 900 respondents expressing their thoughts and priorities on the issues that affect them. This valuable feedback will be a foundation for the Commission's initiatives and the youth priorities or the Youth Participatory Budget Program pilot recommendation. Next, we have upcoming events. The District 3 Policy Summit will be just this weekend on Saturday, January 20th, from 3 to 5 p.m. in SJPL Works and MLK Library. Hosted by the D3 Youth Advisory Council, this summit is an annual event about policy writing that is open to the public. Your youth are invited to learn about the Youth Commission's work and gain insights into crafting policy memorandums. It provides a platform for collaboration and understanding the Commission's impact on the community. Next, the Youth Commission Annual Budget Priorities Summit will be this Sunday, January 21st, from 1:30 to 5:30 p.m. in King Library in room 225. The Youth Commission invites youth to voice their thoughts on organizing the city budget and policy priorities every year. The summit will feature a presentation about survey data, breakout groups, and discussions around city programs to identify youth-focused priorities, and a community conversation with a couple of council members. It is an excellent opportunity for youth and young voices to actively participate in shaping our city's future. Finally, we have the Youth Commission, which will be hosting the second library workshop in partnership with Study Smart. This will be on Saturday, January 27th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Santa Teresa Library. The workshop topics will be Big Future, where students can navigate the Big Future website and explore possible career and college paths. And next, setting financial goals, where students can successfully assess their spending habits and develop new money management strategies, such as personal, short-term, and long-term goals. These events aim to empower youth of San Jose, fostering a sense of community involvement and providing a platform for their voices to be heard. We anticipate a positive impact on the Youth Commission's initiatives and the overall civic engagement of young residents. Thank you for your attention, and I am available for any questions that you may have.
Thank you so much. Wonderful presentation. Before we get into any questions, is there any open public forum or questions from the public on
I do not have any raised hands.
it? All right, I'll open it up to the commission. Any questions or comments from our commissioners? Wonderful job. Thank you for the update. All right, we'll move on to item B, which is an action item. As a reminder, that last one was an information item, so it does not require any action. For this next one, it'll be our college and career pathways update.
Great, tonight we have Vidya Kalambi, who you all know as our division manager, and Amanda Adi is our college and career pathways coordinator.
Thank you. Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Vidya Kalambi, Division Manager of Education and Learning Pathways. Today, my colleague Amanda Adi and I will present a status report on college and career pathways, pathway coordination efforts, which is a major component of our education and digital literacy. Thank you. Everyone who lives in San Jose should be able to thrive here, but the high cost of living in San Jose poses challenges for many youth and adults. Citywide, through the establishment of the Education and Digital Literacy Strategy, we've made efforts to provide programs and services that help community members meet and overcome these challenges. Together with our partners, we aim to provide a continuum of care from cradle to career in alignment with the Children and Youth Services Master Plan currently in development. Following direction from the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee in 2021, the city allocated resources to fund a college and career pathways coordinator position through June 2025. Amanda started in this position at the library in July 2022, embedded as a member of our EDL team. And I'm very excited to showcase all the great work that has happened since she came on board. In November 2020, the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee directed library staff to lead the creation of a shared logic model that outlines the outcomes that city-funded programs aim to achieve. City programs help youth and adults explore possible careers, understand and access educational requirements for their desired field, and have experiences that will support them on their workforce development journey towards earning a living wage. And with this, I hand the presentation over to Amanda, who will be able to showcase all this wonderful work.
Thank you so much. Whew. Good evening, commissioners. Sorry, deep sigh. When I started in the College and Career Pathways Coordinator position, I began a 3-year project to support city staff in achieving the goals and strategic actions listed here, including improve education and employment outcomes for San Jose youth, increase participation by historically underserved students in key opportunities, and enhance coordination efforts across city departments and identify opportunities for collaboration and program improvement. College and career readiness quality standards were adopted by City Council in December 2020. And in November 2021, city staff presented an aligned assessment tool to provide a structure for reflection and planning, and a logic model, which you just saw part of, to provide a visualization of existing programs and opportunities for youth and young adults. In the first stage of quality standards implementation during fiscal year 21-22, 3 library programs piloted the assessment tool: Career Online High School, the project manager, which is here today, the Family, Friend, and Neighbors Caregiver Support Network Program, and San Jose Aspires. In fiscal year 22-23, the Resilience Core Learning Pathway and SJPL Works joined the listed annually assessed programs. Beginning in this fiscal year, 23-24, other city departments began the implementation process. Our goal is to have all college and career programs at the city be part of the assessment process by June 2025. Sorry. In fiscal year 22-23, program teams leveraged a quality improvement planning template to outline goals and actions that are guiding their work in this fiscal year. Information about the 5 system-wide library programs that were assessed in fiscal year 22-23 is available in the EDL annual report memorandum, which we presented to you back in October. In July 2023, staff launched the 3rd stage of the quality standards implementation, providing targeted technical assistance to 6 city departments as they implemented the quality standards in programs which offer unique opportunities to support community members on pathways to college and career. Programs and their departments are listed here and spotlighted in the next few slides. Youth Commission, yay. In fall 2023, the Youth Commission implemented the quality standards by leveraging the assessment tool to reflect on the leadership development aspects of the program and identify goals to guide staff-led improvement efforts. The Youth Commission is the official advisory group of the Mayor and City Council. And through the assessment process, library staff identified skill building and learning as a standard area with opportunity for growth. In this fiscal year, goals include formalizing more skill building opportunities and learning pathways system-wide, especially to support the work of the youth advisory councils. Here are the 6 programs that we've been providing technical assistance to in this fiscal year. I'm going to spotlight 2 and leave you to dive into the memo to get into more detail about others. So here I'll spotlight the Fire Explorer program, which helps young adults prepare for a career in the fire service. Explorers work with the San Jose Fire Department to learn policies and procedures, basic and advanced firefighting techniques, and medical skills. They also become CPR certified, build leadership and teamwork skills, and earn community service hours. Guidance to support their application to be a firefighter, including resume and interview skills, are embedded in the program. The City Intern View Workshop is one example of how the Workforce Learning and Development team at HR is investing time and resources to make the idea of working at the city more appealing to prospective applicants. Over the summer, interns from across city departments came together in a workshop hosted here in SJPL Works to help them learn how to navigate the city application process. Right, so for the sake of time, I will continue. This slide outlines the results of cross-program analyses that compared the assessment results of all 12 programs that were assessed in 2023. Of the 8 standard areas represented in the assessment tool, areas of relative strength and opportunities for growth were identified across programs based on cross-program scores. More detail to support the interpretation of these analyses is available in the memo. In addition to these quantitative analyses, staff identified shared priorities across program quality improvement plans. Common themes for the quality improvement plans include refining recruitment and outreach processes to focus more on equity and inclusion, creating more opportunities for connection and relationship building among program participants, and finding ways to better support program participants to identify and connect with additional opportunities for support and career educational advancements once programs conclude. One more thing to say about this slide, sorry. So deeper context and study are essential to building an action-oriented plan associated with these cross-program scores. Just as individual teams reflected holistically on the process to develop their quality improvement plans, a citywide working group of representative program staff will convene in 2024 to reflect on the assessment results as a collaborative cross-departmental team. This working group will likely focus on a youth job training strategy as a starting point as we align to citywide goals associated with the meaningful and sustaining jobs priority area of the Children and Youth Services Master Plan. Building on the library's commitment to youth empowerment and intergenerational partnership, the library served as a co-convener for Youth Forum 2.0 with Lighthouse Silicon Valley and the Youth Liberation Movement. the Youth Forum brought together representatives from the youth and young adult serving ecosystem in Santa Clara County in a community of learning between December 2022 and October 2023. Our aim was to establish a common vision for an opportunity ecosystem capable of reliably helping young people to achieve the education and employment milestones necessary to succeed in the Silicon Valley economy. In the last meeting of the Youth Forum series, youth and adult participants reviewed a set of solution ideas to help carry the work forward. Some ideas were actionable, or solutions that would be within the jurisdiction of local authority, of local entities, could be implemented within 1 year and could be measured with existing data sources. While other ideas were system level and would require deeper collaboration and longer term engagement. In an activity, each participant had $100 of play money to invest in the solution ideas that they were most excited about and felt would have the greatest positive impact for young people in the future. The library is initiating plans to support the solution ideas with the highest level of buy-in from forum participants, and these plans are summarized in the next 2 slides. So connect the ecosystem of programs and supports was the Youth Forum actionable solution idea with the highest level of buy-in. Library staff will help do this by building an online tool to facilitate connections and collaboration among the ecosystem of workforce-related services, supports, and providers. The why and how behind this idea are outlined here. As an actionable solution, the when should be within 1 year. So we're targeting October 2024 as the goal to launch a public-facing version of this tool. The library is uniquely situated to lead this work on behalf of our community, having established a level of trust among relevant partners and community members alike, all of whom will be critical partners in the design and implementation of this project plan. The project is aligned with the strategic vision for how the library in the city of San Jose should be supporting youth and adults to efficiently navigate workforce development systems on their pathways to college and careers. It is also aligned with the library's mission to ensure that every member of the community has access to a vast array of ideas and information. Establish a common college, career, and well-being framework across the county was the Youth Forum's system-level solution idea with the highest level of buy-in. This idea aligns well with plans in place for our College and Career Pathways unit to work with the same named unit at the Santa Clara County Office of Education to develop a shared framework to guide the work ahead. Library and county office staff aligned on a need to center lived experiences of young people who are furthest from opportunity, like opportunity youth and youth who are disconnected from work and school, and to design supportive systems to meet their needs through an intergenerational partnership approach. This project will take flight in 2024, but this work will likely evolve over a longer period of time as we consider the tactical implementation strategy for this systems level change idea. The College and Career Pathways framework will be integrated with the Children and Youth Services Master Plan, the San Jose Youth Empowerment Alliance Strategic Plan, and embedded in current and future work plans of the School City Collaborative. At the regional and state levels, the city's framework will also be connected to local efforts related to the Bay Area K-16 Collaborative, integrated with the implementation of the Cradle to Career data system, and adapted to align with California's new master plan on career education when it is completed in the fall of this year, as directed by Governor Newsom in an executive order from August 2023. In addition to Youth Forum and the collaborative project with the County Office of Education, library staff are engaged in other local efforts that aim to ensure all residents have access to coordinated services along the continuum of care from cradle to career. One of these efforts is the STEM Pathways work facilitated by the Tech Interactive. Another is the Northern California College Promise Coalition, which brings together leaders, practitioners, and resources to enhance college success efforts in the region. In April 2024, the library will join the Northern California College Promise Coalition, San Jose City College, San Jose State University, Santa Clara University, and the San Jose California Student Opportunity and Access Projects Consortium, otherwise known as CALSOP, in hosting the San Jose Education Forum. This all-day in-person event at San Jose City College will convene education leaders and practitioners to spotlight education equity opportunities that impact San Jose and to explore collaborative solutions to address development pathways, including dual enrollment, effective student and family engagement, and improving college affordability and financial aid access. More detail about this event will be shared in the months ahead, and we hope you will consider joining us. Concludes our presentation, and we welcome any questions that you may have.
Thank you for the robust presentation. Before we get into questions and comments from the commission, we will go to public comment.
First public comment, Paul Soto.
Yes, Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. I would like Conexión to be brought in on this conversation. They are designed, their clients are the ones that have been generating.
The library will close in just 30 minutes. There are dark and study hours for
Hold on,
everyone.
Mr. Soto. We'll give you your
Everyone's
time.
in the building by 8 p.m. Once again, everyone.
Okay, the ones that are most generationally impacted, the sons and daughters of cannery workers, of manufacturing workers, and of campesinos, the grandchildren, are serviced by Conexión. I would like them directly involved in this particular conversation. Now, this is $3.25 million coming from that community benefit. So I want my community to benefit from this because of the historical deficits that we all know happened. And I don't trust this library. I do not trust this library. So I want to make absolutely certain that there is a clear career pathway to the AI technology that's going to be coming here to San Jose and the Google campus that's going to be built. There has to be a direct pipeline for kids so that they could be viable in this city. I mean, come on, we can't fake like what's happening is not happening around us. We are getting gentrified out of this area quickly. There's 400,000 people, and they're all basically engineers and computer techs that is coming here to San Jose from around the world. That's necessarily going to push out at least 250,000 citizens because they are just not going to be able to survive here. It's not going to happen. So it is incumbent upon you because you're receiving the money. 3.25 million. I want some results. Not only that, Jill Bourne was admonished for not bringing in the overall data. How many people do we need to service? Then what are the outcomes? And because all you show on your data sheets is how many people you're serving, and those numbers are low in comparison to the need. Those numbers.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. That is your 2 minutes. We'll go on to our next public speaker.
Lillian.
Yes, I'm just going to comment on the very last slide, the city as a classroom. You know, whenever I listen to any of the commission meetings or any of the Zoom meetings for city council, or I get involved in any of the political organizations in town, it's all within the city, and the city really is a classroom. So whoever termed that or put that on that last slide, congratulations. That is exactly where we're at. Thank you.
Any other folks online?
That's all.
Any folks in the public? All right, we'll open up the floor for questions and comments from our commission. Oh, Commissioner
Hi,
Gardner.
I'm Patricia Gardner. This is great. I love seeing it. I love your collaborative process. It looks like you're really trying to reach out to the voices in the community. I guess my main question is, what about San Jose Best? So you've got San Jose Works, you've got all these other, but the kids that are actually dropping out of school and who need this service are our gang impacted kids. And the city puts millions of dollars into nonprofits to impact those kids, particularly in the summer, right? With their summer youth programming. And so this would be a great opportunity to educate the nonprofits that are working with these kids about this resource and connect them. So I think it's great that you're working with some of these groups, but the group that is the most disenfranchised, the one that's farthest away from these services, that are dropping out and who need to be connected back in. And the city puts a lot of resources in that, so that's a natural connection for you all. And so I'd really like to encourage you to figure out a way with that team on how you can integrate this knowledge to the ones that serve, and then maybe do something with their summer youth program. If you talked about inviting youth in to come learn about it and hear about it. Let's talk to the kids that aren't using it at all and find out why. And so I would really like to encourage you. Conexión is one of those agencies. There are many agencies that serve that population. But I'd really like to encourage that voice to be brought into this room. Because I really think there's a benefit here, and particularly for those that are working with the kids, to know that it's happening and to connect them in, because that's what we need, is that connection.
Absolutely.
And a lot of their families as well haven't graduated from high school, and they're still looking to get their GEDs so that they can success. So there's a whole microcosm of that that I didn't see here. Maybe you're doing it, but it was a connection I didn't see in your list of how you're connecting with other city programs.
Absolutely. I just want to acknowledge this is definitely something that is on our radar, and the Youth Intervention Services team has programs that I think fall under our umbrella of college and career and are listed in our expanded logic model scope, which is in one of your attachments in the memo. And what we opted to do for like this initial outreach to other city departments is identify specific individual programs within each department. The Parks and Recreation Department has many college and career programs that are relevant and will absolutely be included in this next stage of quality standards implementation, which will include a lot of cross-program collaboration efforts, identifying sort of these wraparound pathways, like you said, young people who might be involved in one of the best funded agency programs, might have parents who would benefit from knowledge around our career online high school program. And there is a logical connection between that work through the SJ Works program. And I'm gesturing over here because we have with us tonight, Anthony. Would you introduce yourself, Anthony? I'm not sure I'll pronounce your last name
I'm Anthony
correctly.
Hughes. I'm with San Jose Works. I'm a business developer.
So Anthony works on the summer program, and the young people who are connected through SJ Works are generally, can correct me if I'm wrong, Anthony, referred through the Youth Intervention Services unit team, and all those best funded agency organizations and programs are the ones that refer young people to the SJ Works opportunity. So to some extent, they were included within this last fiscal year's sort of targeted outreach, and will absolutely be part of that outreach in the future. And I also want to introduce my colleague Alyssa Mendoza, who oversees the Career Online High School program. So if you have more specific questions around SJ Works and Career Online High School, we'll be able to dig a little deeper too.
Thank you.
I just want to say thank you, since we were doing this since the beginning of time, it seems like before pandemic. The work keeps going. It's all the levels. I just love each of the age ranges and the focus of work, seeing how much progress you make. I'm glad you said high school services, yay. But because I wanted to see too, I think I saw it in the memo, but just remind me, because I'm getting old now. I know certainly the work with the county and the County Office of Ed and the school districts around wellness centers at high schools in particular. I'll just speak for San Jose Unified, but I know they're happening everywhere. I'm thinking, how are we connecting? I think I saw something there, but I just can't remember. But certainly we don't need to recreate the wheel when they're happening and being funded already, as long as we're in partnership. And those kids are going to those high schools anyway, typically. And like for us, it's at Ohlone. And so we're certainly clients and kids that will be supported by the library system. Second thing I have about that is career day, college and career days. So I just did for us and for San Jose Unified college and career day at Leland High School with District 10, Arjun Batra. And I did say that bitterly, that's okay. We did it together to talk about what is politics and what is, if you're gonna go down that line, what does that look like from commissions all the way through to mayor to the state and stuff like that. But they had many opportunities for the kiddos to do that. And a lot of our high schools, of course, have very robust career centers in their programs. And I know some of the kids that came up were like, I'm not sure what I'm gonna do and how do I make sure? And and so of course we were talking about it, but it's in isolation to Leland. And so I'm just offering out that too, that these are resources where those kids are all going to the same things. They're going to the libraries, they're going to Almaden Library, and they're going to Leland or Pioneer in my trustee area. So I just want to make sure, and I think I saw it, but maybe you could talk about it a little bit.
Yeah, in fact, Jill, maybe you want to share about this too, but I think both of those ideas around coordinating with schools around the wellness centers and making sure that we are participating in and supporting the efforts of schools around college and career days are things that are outlined in our school city collaborative work plans. So we have this formal relationship to work closely with schools, and then embedded in that and as part of that, our branches spend a lot of time around school outreach, doing and participating in those events within their service areas as well. Alyssa is sort of our college and coordination pathways team, the outreach expert. And so as we've been growing our team, we've been able to participate in more events like that. So
I would offer Jose and I
yeah.
to make sure those connections, particular to San Jose Unified, if you have any issues or any runways, because there's no reason not to.
Absolutely.
They're doing it already, and it's a service that you can count in your list of to-dos by making a relationship happen. And certainly we will do that for Jose's work on getting all the kids in our district library cards with us. So I appreciate it.
Other questions, comments from the commission?
I can come for those. And it was mentioned by some of our commissioners who've been here for a while, but this is part of our education digital literacy strategy. Each of the elements, we started with early education, we moved on to expanded learning, we did digital literacy, and then college and career. And in most of them, we partnered really closely with Parks, Recreation, Neighborhood Services, right? So you've gotten lots of reports with us in partnership, sometimes the city manager's office. This is the first time the library's been asked, I think, because of that work, to really work across the city. So we're talking about public works, we're talking about pretty much every, I think you've got 6 to 8 departments in this next phase. And so it's really a new, bigger step, but recognizing the good work the team has done in trying to link things together and work closely with city leadership to see if we can get farther in connecting, children, again, from the early ed programs to the out of school time, all the way up through an actual meaningful career in our community. So
that's great.
It is huge. So I think don't hesitate to bring up your ideas. If you have a partner that you think we should be talking to, don't hesitate. Like they might have thought it through, but it's a really big, gnarly issue, but we have a great team working on it, and we really appreciate any guidance that you want to provide.
Since you said that, it reminded me of Metro Ed. It reminded me of the particular work that we do. Right now, Brian Wheatley's the board president of representing San Jose Unified at Metro Ed, and we've all toured it. We've all seen it. I think they're also going through a new executive director search. Might be a good time to have, when they have their new one on board, have lunch.
Absolutely. We've been working pretty closely
Good.
with Metro Ed. I have regular meetings with a team member there, and then last year and this year we're going back in February. Alyssa and I and one of our SJPL Works team members is going to be at their college and career fair. They're also hosting a wellness fair this month that our THQ team will be at. So definitely recognize the clear areas of partnership. Our HR team too has been very active around the workforce learning and development, trying to help find really clear pathways for students in the specific career tracks to city jobs.
Great job.
First of all, I know it takes a lot of work to do these reports. I'm very mindful that you probably spent hours preparing this for us today, so I want to thank you for that. And I just want to add that beyond the County Office of Education and MetroEd, don't forget the charter schools. Many of our low income and the Foundation for Hispanic, what do they call? They have 3 high schools, have primarily minority families and kids there. And we want to make sure that they're included and involved as well. And then mostly, a lot of them are on the east side in Franklin McKinley or in the east side. And so we want to make sure that we outreach to those families and kids as well. If we're just adding to the list, you know, I could just keep giving you names.
I love it.
But I want to make sure that we're including those voices that sometimes aren't asked to the table. And that's gang impacted youth and their families and charter schools. So I want to put those on your radar.
Absolutely. And just to acknowledge, I think we've, in our goal to try to reach the young people who are furthest from opportunity, Lauren Hancock, who's our Expanded Learning Community Programs Administrator, and I've been working really closely with the Opportunity Youth Academy Charter and the San Jose Conservation Corps and Charter School, because they are in a unique situation with the library cards in particular, because some of their young people are not yet 18, but they also have adults in their programs, and so finding ways to make sure that
Attention everyone, the library will close in just 15 minutes. There are no extended study hours for SOU Spartans. Everyone must exit the building by 8 p.m. Once again, everyone, the library will close in just 15 minutes.
Another thing that might be happy to hear is that when we restructured the School City Collaborative in 2020, I think when we had the education policy adopted, we did include the charter networks for the first time. And so they're part of what we see as our local education.
Great, thank you for that.
And that includes the sort of individual charter schools like the Escuela Popular and the ones that are smaller than the larger.
Other questions or comments? Wonderful presentation, folks. This is an action item. So I'm going to entertain a motion that we accept the report and give to City Council.
Before we go there, I'm so sorry. One more. Can you just highlight for me what work we're doing? I know it's in there too, but around special education kids moving out as well. Who's coming? Who do you have in the partnership pipeline with that?
That is a very good question. What we have talked about is really targeting the young people who are furthest from opportunity. So in the development of the framework with the County Office of Education, we'll definitely be working very closely with our special education educators and pathway experts. And then all of the, not all of them, but representatives from those groups were also part of that youth forum work and engaged with us in all those data collection efforts as well.
San Andreas Regional Center is one, and then Parents Helping Parents helps parents learn how to navigate the system for children, and then young adults with special needs. Sorry.
And I'm just making an assumption that you're doing this in multiple languages, particularly for family engagement, that all of this is being translated in Spanish, Vietnamese. Just checking. I'm just making an assumption that that's happening, but I think maybe I should have said it out loud. So particularly for family engagement, so that the families know and can encourage their kids to participate.
Other questions, comments? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the report.
So moved.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any other discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All abstentions? Motion passes. Report accepted. Thank you again for the robust presentation. Appreciate that. All the work that you've done. So we'll move on to item C, information item on our library budget review.
Needs no introduction, but it's Drea Maestre, our wonderful administrative officer.
Good evening, commissioners. I'm excited to be here with you today. So we're going to have a little bit of a budget update, and so included in that is we'll go over kind of our current adopted budget for fiscal year 23-24. We'll jump into the kind of where we're at in the budget process and the budget direction we received, and then we'll kind of slide into the library's priorities and close out with the city's budget timeline, getting us through the adopted budget in June. Get started. So here is the library's adopted budget. I had come to you, I believe, in September and presented the same information. And so nothing has changed. This is our adopted budget and $59 million in our operating budget. Of that, you'll notice that over 47 million is the city's general fund. And so the general fund is in fact the city's resource when there's a struggle or something that happens within the city. That is the fund that is stretched and is impacted the most. And so in addition to that, we definitely have our library parcel tax. We have some capital funds that fund positions that support capital related projects and work. And then we also have some gift trust funds. And so of course, gift trust funds vary every single year, depending on how many gifts we receive from the general public. And included in this is our staff. And so we have over 405 FTE, and that actually equates to over 600 people, 600 staff members, because we have a contingent of part-time positions. And so 81% of our operating budget is in fact to fund and pay for our staff. And then the other 19% is paying for our operations of our facilities. And so it includes utilities, it includes our custodial, so a variety of costs are included in there in order to keep our facilities just operational. And then on the capital side, a little over $23 million. So included in there are the remaining portion of our library bonds. We do get 14.22% of the city's whole construction and conveyance tax revenue. And so for the fiscal year, it's $14.8 million. And then we also were successful in applying for and receiving a building forward infrastructure grant in the amount. The total amount is $8.7 million, but the amount included in the budget is 4.9. And a total capital improvement program for the 5-year period is $59.6 million. And so this money is used to support branch upkeep, facility maintenance, roof, HVAC, all of those types of major components within our facilities. So now we jump into the city's budget direction. So every year in December, the city administration issues a memo to departments that highlights what their budget direction is for the upcoming budget cycle. And so included in this year's memo, there was that the city revenues are looking a bit better than anticipated, but they are still staggering well below pre-COVID revenue numbers, as well as there are some on the forecast, there are some lower years on the forecast. So really trying to be strategic and being able to really prioritize certain types of city high priorities or risk areas to offer actions where departments can reallocate existing resources. So for example, if a department has a program that they have deemed maybe that it's not as important or it's lower on the priority list than other programs that they need funding for, then they're asking for departments to reevaluate that internally and to identify funding sources for those higher priority items by eliminating or by reducing some resources in existing programs. And so a lot of that, allocating any new resources to very small handful of key policy areas that identify, and also areas that identify any organizational risk. And then also consider how we can reallocate resources to impact racial equity within our community. And so the library, as you know, is always looking at that. That's just something we do every single day. That's not something, that's not an additional layer. That's who we are, and that's what we do all the time. The city for the last couple of years has done a citywide budgeting for equity review process. And so again, that's going to be part of the process that every department is going to complete upon submitting their budget proposals. And the other main area is considering items that were perhaps one-time funded in the current year. And if we want to try to propose those ongoing or to continue them on a one-time basis. And of course, that is has to be aligned with the citywide priorities and work streams that were previously approved.
Andrea, I don't know if we want to, I know you had done your slides before we clarified this
Yeah.
yesterday. But
Yeah,
we did
so-
learn yesterday that we are being asked to identify reductions.
I'm sure.
And typically for citywide potential reductions, and so programs that we could that could be eliminated. And it's very challenging because you know, the things that are on our general fund are typically library hours, and some of our you know, what we consider essential programs. So that's something that we'll be looking at. And the reason I did want to let you know that is that if that does continue through the process, I wanted to give you a heads up that when we come back, we may have information about what was discussed at least.
Yeah, and so, so we were asked to complete that. Every department was. And in other years where departments were asked to provide reduction proposals, there was a specific target, a number, a percentage, and a number that you had to meet. And so this is a little bit different of a scenario where they're not giving departments a specific number to reach. So it will be interesting, as Jill said, and so we'll have to see how that conversation progresses through the budget process with us as well as all the other departments. So we jump into the library's priorities. So as you know, Fines Free for All is just going to forever be our priority. So we have the fines free on youth materials, which is great.
Attention everyone, the library will close in just 5 minutes. There are no extended study hours for SUG Spartans. Everyone must exit the building by 8 p.m. Once again, everyone, the library will close in just 5 minutes.
At this point, the revenue for fines for all other materials is less than $70,000, and so we're not talking about a large dollar amount, but it is in fact a revenue impact to the city, and so that is something that that we've been advocating for many years for. Additionally, SG Access, our digital equity program and devices, cybersecurity compliance support, and so that's, you know, I'm sure we all see what's going on and what's been going on for the last couple of years in terms of the cybersecurity attacks. So definitely a concern we have. World language cataloging to support our language cataloging, and then recruitment and retention support to make sure that we can fill our positions timely and make sure that we can keep employees, you know, and provide promotional pathways for them. Early education staffing support, and then staffing conversions efficiencies to improve the system-wide support that kind of ties into one of the directives provided within the memorandum. And on a capital side, so the first slide was our operating priorities. On the capital side, of course, we want to maintain our facilities. We want to maintain this facility here, our joint partnership with King. And then we also want to make sure that we maintain our IT infrastructure and all of our devices and make sure we have everything in place to support all the needs of the public as well as our staff. And then our ebooks and e-resources collection enhancements, and then also our vehicle fleet replacements. So we have box trucks out on the street delivering, and then we also have our security team that has vehicles because they are roaming throughout the system. We do not have enough to be able to just stay at one location. They roam around. They're assigned a specific area and have to go through a couple branches, well, more than a couple. So those are very important for us to make sure that we can procure and maintain those vehicles and make sure that we have access to all of that. So that is it on our operating side as well as our capital side. And so we'll move into the timeline. So from a department level, we start the budget process in September every year. And a lot of that is with us engaging with our staff, working with our managers on the beginning of developing budget proposals. So as I previously stated, the direction doesn't come out until December. And so I believe this year was December 15th. And so departments have to start their budget proposal process internally months before that, because it's a very long process. There's a lot of detailed information provided, data. And so so when we get that direction, we kind of have to take a review of what we have already, kind of work through the process and all of that data, and then figure out what items might we want to tweak, or what items might we be moving forward that fall within that direction. And so that is November, December, all of the leadership review at our executive leadership level. And then in December, January is when the city manager's budget office completes another process, which is revenue projections. And so they'll kind of identify another 5-year forecast of revenues and where do we think we're going to be at from revenues and expenditures. Are we going to have a shortfall? Are we going to have some years where we might be able to put some money in the reserves? So they'll complete that process and release that document. January and February is when budget proposals are due for this year, January 26th. And then in February, our wonderful budget subcommittee, which was on the consent calendar, will be presenting in February the commission budget, message to be delivered to the council and mayor. And so that is kind of our internal timeline that we go through within the library department. And that overlays with the citywide annual budget process, which we get the budget direction in December. And then all of those items that we're already doing or already have completed within the department from the previous slide just continue. We continue to develop those proposals, continue to work on gathering.
Attention everyone, the library is not closed. Please exit the building at this time. There are no extended study hours for SSU Spartans. Everyone must exit the building now. Once again, the library is not closed. Have a safe evening.
And then in January, we submit our budget proposals. February, the commission memo comes back to and approved, and then it will be delivered to the council and mayor. And then in March, the March mayor's budget message is delivered, which has some priorities that the mayor wants to have included in the budget. And then there is a public hearing on the mayor's March budget message. And then we continue into the development of the May 1st proposed budget. And so even though it was so quick, we are every day working on editing, going back and forth with the budget office. There's a lot of activity happening within the city at a citywide level, at a department level, where we're refining whatever proposals. Maybe they might get adjusted. Maybe there might be another proposal that gets created, 2 months in. And so there's a lot of activity happening through the submittal date of January 26th, all the way until I would say even less than a week before May 1st when it's printed. There's still a lot of happening, a lot of activity. And then in May, there are community budget meetings. There's a lot of opportunities for the general public or yourselves to advocate for a library or any other services that you want to make sure are included in the budget. And then there is a public study session. There's a public hearing. Then at the end of May, May 23rd is when the city council budget, they call them budget document process starts, where city council members start to submit budget documents highlighting areas that they want to have included within the budget. And then in June, we have the mayor's June budget message. And that is kind of the final piece of what needs to be included in the proposed budget. So it's the proposed plus the mayor's June budget message that ends up being the adopted budget. And so that will slightly differ from the March budget message, but there's definitely a lot of items that are still included. And then we have the final public hearing, and then the final approval, and then adoption at council. And so that is the timeline. And as I indicated, in May and June, there's a lot of opportunities for the general public, for anyone from the commission to advocate for library services or any city services that you want to make sure are included in the budget process. And so with that, anyone have any questions?
Before we get into questions or comments from the commission, we have public comment on this.
I do have one raised hand from Paul Soto. Paul Soto, please speak.
Yeah, thank you. Paul Soto from the Horseshoe. Thank you for that report. I would like a particular allocation placed in the library budget to discuss the Chicano movement. I think it's time that the San Jose Public Library really start beginning to highlight the Chicano movement, by name. We are still an identifiable group here in San Jose. We identify as Chicanos. And when you go to any college, they don't call it Latinx studies. They don't call it Latino studies. They still call it Chicano studies. And that's because we still exist. And I think there's a kind of a bit of a disconnect, because San Jose State was where the June 14th, the first Chicano commencement occurred. It has nothing to do with the farm workers movement. Nothing to do with the farm workers movement. It has nothing to do with Sauce Fuentes. It has to do with San Jose State. And MLK is connected to San Jose State library system. So there has to be some kind of articulation of Chicanismo and what that means within the overall history of San Jose State and the San Jose Public Library system. We just recently got immigrant or illegal alien, that kind of language just removed, because you guys have to be pushed to do it, because you guys ain't going to do it yourselves, because you don't care. You really just don't care. It doesn't matter to you. It has to matter to men like myself, that are not going to tolerate any kind of historical erasure of Chicanismo and what it has meant to this city and what it is meant to the city council. We have 10 city council districts now because of the Chicano movement, not the farm workers movement. We have the first graduate school of social work inside San Jose State. Why? Because of the Chicano movement. Sal Alvarez and Dr. Paul, the institute program. But we can start highlighting the Chicano movement within the library system and maybe have a presentation inside.
Thank you, Mr. Soto. Do we have any other public comment on this?
No other comment.
Anyone in the public over here? All right, we'll open it up. Questions and comments from the commission. Commissioner Gardner.
Okay, so is it okay? Okay, so I am familiar with the budget process, so I have two questions. One is, in a previous meeting, and I saw your priorities, they're great, but staff safety and security. And I am a little concerned about that. You have mobile security, you don't know when a crisis is going to happen. So I guess I asked for that to perhaps be lifted up, or I'd like to know maybe why it wasn't prioritized. Maybe you addressed it in another way. And then I went back to my notes when you presented on the budget, and the amount of general fund that's in the library is huge. Are you the largest department with that? In the general fund, because that's, they're going to touch that before they touch anything else. I just want to have an understanding of, where do you rank in departments with the percentage of general fund?
So I want to say that police and fire definitely have much larger general fund.
Okay, well, forget them. And now who's next?
And the difference between, for example, us and Parks and Rec is fee funded. So they charge for their services. Right. We are free. And so, I don't know, I don't have exact standing.
I think it's a really good point, and it's an important point. And to what you're saying, it is because we don't charge for services, right? The library doesn't charge for services, and the city council has voted for several years now to increase the library's general fund allocation so that we could increase operating hours and increase many of the services that the commission has advocated for. So we are, we're way below police and fire just because of the size of the system, but we're probably third or fourth in terms of the highest percentage of our budget being general fund. So we typically get a pretty large target when they give targets that are percentage based. Mm-hmm. This time they didn't do that, as we mentioned.
Yet.
But I like what you're saying, because one of the things we've talked about is diversifying our funding. Our library parcel tax, which I think was renewed in 18, sorry. No, I've been here for way too long, 2014. And it's for 25 years though, but it only provides about a quarter of our budget, if that. And so, that we need to look at diversifying our funding potentially.
Well, because if you look at your pattern here, during COVID, you guys got a lot of federal funding because it became available. And so now it's shrinking. And it looks like it's back to where it was a few years ago. If I'm just using this little chart here. So I guess that's my concern, is that you're heavily general funded, and in my experience, those are the targets first. And police and fire are normally not on the targets. So I guess my question is, if I have a question here, is that there's a budget process happening and then there's your timeline. And I guess my question is, what kind of education needs to happen now with the council before they make those decisions? And I know Tuesday they're coming forward with them. But I understand that they haven't given you a target, but in my experience, they're gonna give you one. And so how do we educate the council on that our services are free? You know, I guess we have a lot of new council members now, and if they weren't here before, and so I'm mostly interested in educating new council members. I think you've got like 4 or 5 of them. Just sort of bringing that up as an issue. I just find that we can't go and ask in one meeting. They sort of have to know a little bit before you go for the ask. That's my experience.
So I think those are all really good points. I think that one of the things that we've seen with the newer council members is that I think most of them were actually school board members at one time. You know, we've had some natural connections with many of them, and they seem to have a lot of interest in supporting the library and understanding the value that the library has for the community, which is, you know, that's what they're here to serve the community. So I think that is an important conversation. Each of our commissioners, you know, you are actually appointed to advise council. You know, we're not your boss. You're their boss. So you get to, you get to advise council on what you think the priorities should be. And, you know, we have our communities often are engaged to do that as well in their neighborhoods. So, you know, I think that we've had far more support than any, and far more growth than any threats of reduction in the past several years, despite coming out of a pandemic. We have a very supportive council, but we never take it for granted.
I just was here where they cut all your library hours, so I have a very good memory of the cut.
I was here.
And so I just remember that it was not that hard for them to cut your hours. And so I always look at it a little half full because I've been through a little government processes. If you guys are feeling great, that's fine with me. But my recommendation is that we would have talking points in February to go and meet with our council people. And then we're going to go later and ask them for a request. It's not a 1-time, it's maybe a 2-time. That's my recommendation.
And I'll say too, sorry,
Thank you.
going back, thinking I think it's 2017 or 18 when we first did the fines free thing. I went to, I think, 3 different council meetings, and I wasn't the only one there. And I actually wrote, just so I can remember, like, attendance matters, because I actually remember a council member saying, well, library commission has been kind of the only commissioners coming to advocate for things. So I'll push us as commissioners to say, when the time comes to speak with your council members, not just one-on-one, but public forum, if you can, take advantage of that, because they do want to hear from us. And, you know, when there's, I think at one council meeting, we had like 8 commissioners there. They're like, okay, all right, we get it. You want no fines. And now we're talking about fines free for everyone. So a push for all of us, right? Let's speak up when we can.
And I think that the memo process, the budget message that you all create together, that then can become the talking points in a lot of ways.
In February.
We'll come back
When it will
to
be adopted in February.
adopting the February. Yes.
Which is 2 weeks away.
And to loop back around about the safety and security. And so that's always a priority for the library. And we did receive 4 additional positions in this budget cycle for this year, as well as $193,000 for additional contract security. And so we've implemented the contract security, which is great. We have a new plan in place and are in the process of filling our positions. And so we have a plan for that stabilizing and revisiting security. It's a little bit difficult to ask for additional positions when you're still working towards implementation of the plan that was approved for this year. Jill, I don't know if you have.
Yes, I was just gonna say, we now, you know, we had 3 positions, I believe. We now have 10.5.
Okay.
So vacant positions. So the council actually gave us 4 in 1 year, but they had given us more in another action with new hours the year prior. So we've actually, I think we've done, are we on our second hiring round?
Yes.
We haven't been able to fill them all yet. So that is, so we're in the process of filling those positions. And to Andrea's point, we need to get that fully staffed up and then take a look and see how is that working, where they're. Thank you.
Commissioner Brown?
You mentioned that fines are less than a certain amount, but was that before we had the fines free with the youth and children, or is that just current?
Current.
Okay. And then the city had come back with because we were asking for, with seniors, and they came back with a cap for that. Have we even touched that cap?
It's fully exhausted for the current fiscal year already. The
Okay, and
$5,000.
when did we hit that cap?
October. I think it was, yeah,
Okay.
I believe it was
Thank you.
early October.
Thank you.
Other questions? Thank you so much. Thank you for the robust presentation. This is an information item though, so we will not take any action on this. So we'll move on to our next item, which is our council liaisons announcements. Thank you for joining us today.
It's good to be here. Happy New Year's, everyone. I'm from Councilmember Torres's office. My name is Brian. So we were on break, or council was on recess during the holidays. So we're catching up on a couple of the requests that we've been receiving and getting back into the swing of things. Budget season, as we just heard from the library, that it's in full motion. So it's gonna get a little, it's gonna get a lot busier for the upcoming months, and I feel like that will be felt with everyone. So it's exciting. Budget season's opportunity for new things to occur and for new priorities to be presented. So yeah, we're getting into the swing of things, getting back into session. Council member previously this last week before, he sits on the Neighborhood Services and Education Committee, so he heard I'm blanking on it. The education equity, digital equity and literacy memorandum that was presented here back in October. So it's good to see that familiar memorandum come back in front of me and my desk to help council member. And he had a great opportunity to ask some questions and move it on to council for next month. Upcoming, our office, we're gonna be having a breakfast, kind of like get to meet with the council member and discuss questions that community members might have, also meet the team this weekend. It's a breakfast discussion. We're gonna have, the main topic is police redistricting in the district and also San Jose at the San Jose Fire Museum. So if you have some hours and you want to spend it getting to know downtown San Jose, District 3, or meet with the council member, it's a good opportunity, 9 to 11 this Saturday. But yeah, we're looking forward for the rest of the month and the upcoming weeks and months and the meetings that will come. So yeah, thank you.
Any questions for our council liaison? Brian, I just want to say thank you. I know when I first came on the commission, we didn't always have great attendance from our council liaisons. So thank you for being here. You're doing a phenomenal job. Thank you. We'll move on to our next item, which is chair's announcements. Two, just really quick thing. Honestly, just thank you to our staff. One, went to the Rose Garden Library on Saturday with my kiddos. They love it. Really encourage y'all to go check out your friends' area. I got some great books that we get to take home for really cheap, and we're supporting the library at the same time. And also too, we went to Christmas in the Park at History Park, and folks were tabling there for the library. I was like, what? This is amazing. And being able to see kids enjoy the holiday season and also find ways to get a library card was amazing. So I just want to say thank you to staff. It was I think a Saturday that we went, and folks were handing things out, and just want to appreciate the staff for doing that. It was great to see our table out as we heard some Christmas carolers singing some songs. Library directors now.
Oh, thank you. So I did want to acknowledge that we just completed our second successful winter reading programs. Everybody has summer reading, but we also have winter reading from December 7th to January 7th. We actually we had a total of about 3,700, almost 10,000 registrants. So 3,700 folks signed up for Winter Reading, which was a 26% increase from last year, our inaugural year. So it's pretty fun. People from all ages can participate. They get giveaways, of course, books, and also grand prizes. We gave out more than 2,500 books to Winter Reading participants, and every category of readership saw an increase in signups this year, which was great. The adults and preteens saw the biggest jump. They actually went up 40% each. And overall, readers completed the program at a higher rate than previous years. They logged nearly 64,000 books. So those 3,700 people were reading a lot of books, and more than 1.5 million minutes read in just 1 month. How fun is that? And also about 500 students of all grade levels across the city signed up for a chance to win a large book bundle prize for themselves and their classmates. So it goes to the classroom. And we just want to thank everyone who participated and supported that program. In addition, coming up on January 20th, we are having our first annual MLK Day of Service. So some of you will recall we used to have volunteer days of service prior to the pandemic. So we're bringing it back, and when better to have it, but on Saturday, January 20th. So from 10:30 to 11:30 at all library locations that are open, you can go and volunteer. And you can give back to your community by beautifying the library, earning volunteer time, which also can go to volunteering away your fines, which is one of our programs. You can remove $20 worth of fines from any participant's library account per hour. The event is open to everyone, regardless of whether you have fines or not. And to kick off service day, King Library will actually have a story time from 10 to 10:30 a.m. and then a drum circle from 11:30 to 12:30. So for more information, you can go to, of course, sjpl.org/MLK Day of Service. And next, we are thrilled once again to be participating in Silicon Valley Reads, which is a community engagement program around reading that selects an annual theme and accompanying books. And it's in partnership with the San Jose Public Library, the Santa Clara Library System, County Library System, and also the Santa Clara County Office of Education. And so this year's theme is A Greener Tomorrow Starts Today, and selected books and events will explore environmental issues related to sustainability. We will host numerous events throughout the next few months. The kickoff, though, is scheduled for Wednesday, January 31st at the Visual Performing Arts Center at Tianza College from 7 to 8:30, and will also be live streamed simultaneously. And so we, again, if you want to find out more about it, sjpl.org/svreads. And if you would like to attend, please contact us as staff. And next, kind of going chronologically, we are super excited to be celebrating the upcoming Lunar New Year holiday. We always have a number of large programs to celebrate Lunar New Year, and this year we're having a series of free events that include story times, crafts, festivals, lion dances, performances, and so much more. At the Berryessa Branch Library, we'll also host a community event on Saturday, February 3rd from 10 to 1 p.m., so 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., where the public will enjoy cultural performances, games, and other activities, as well as refreshments and prizes. If you have ever attended this before, it is usually a raucous and incredibly fun event. So please, please take it in if you can. We're going to have special guests, including State Senator Wahab and County Supervisor Lee, as well as Councilmember David Cohen. So for more information, again, you can check out our programming page. And then lastly, I think in honor of Commissioner Kelly, who we're all missing, he made a request that we let the commission know when we're going to have closure days. So I'm going to let you know that on Friday, February 9th, we are closed for Lunar New Year, as well as Monday, February 19th for President's Day. The King Library will be open on those two holidays, and our e-library is always open at sjpl.org. That concludes my remarks.
Questions, comments?
I have a comment. So the library is so good at recognizing the community and So I just want to note that the staff that come here to prepare these reports have spent hours doing so. Like, it's not like they did it, in their spare time. And I just don't feel like we make a big enough deal in thanking them for that. So I want to know if there's a way, a huzzah, a gold star, Starbucks card, something. Because it's hours of time that they come and prepare this for us. And I know it because I've done it. And so I just feel like they come and they present and then we ask questions, or maybe we don't. And I just want to acknowledge their time. And is there a way that we can huzzah or something?
Yeah, I mean, I think there have been, we used to applaud, right? I don't think we've just been sedated coming back in person, but.
But I'd love you guys to think about what would be an appropriate way for the commission to acknowledge the amount of time and effort that the staff comes in. And I just sort of reflect back on one where we went to a public library, and I know that they spent hours and they divide up who's going to talk about what. And I just really want to find a better way to acknowledge that than just, does anybody have any questions and thank you. I just feel like we need to do more.
Very good.
I
Maybe
would
the
welcome
commission-
any ideas that you may have.
Whatever, I don't know what all the rules are for the city, so if another commission is doing something, maybe we can. Anyway, I want to do something better then. Thank you.
I will make sure to tap in once the time comes.
I will say that our staff, I think, I can speak for them, we really appreciate the commission taking your time to learn about the library, the advocacy that you've done, the representation of your communities is really important. You're also leaving your families to be with us. And so I know that when we're after our commission meetings, we talk about how meaningful this engagement is and how it's great for our staff to be able to talk to you. So that's another thing is, after the meeting, it's always nice to have conversations and get to know the staff a little bit better as well. And maybe the chair and vice chair you guys can think about some appropriate ways to acknowledge staff.
Great.
We also do internally, but
Yeah, absolutely.
no, I don't think no gifts. That.
Yeah.
We'll bring out the gift policy and make sure that we have to
Yeah.
violate.
Nothing over $10. We could do $5 gift cards to Starbucks and not violate the gift policy. It's anything over $10. Just saying. That's the rule.
Our new coffee shop is supposed to open soon.
I will gladly take donations from folks. So for paying childcare, I'm just throwing it out there. All right.
I just wanted to, if you haven't done Silicon Valley Reads, it's a great opportunity to have that exposure to authors you might not normally pick up yourself. I really enjoyed reading the books last year and going to the event at De Anza. It's a worthwhile read to participate in and to go, last year they had the authors and it's really exciting to hear their stories and the backstory of what they've written too. So it's a great opportunity. Please do take advantage of it if you haven't before.
Any other questions or comments for our library? Right, comments and announcements. Announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners.
So I just alluded to the one, I was there for both, for this commission and for San Jose Unified to do a presentation on all careers, but our panel was, how do kids what's the path to politics? What's the path to civic engagement? And so there were lots of guys and 3 great girls that I was like, okay, we really need more representation of women. So I spent a lot of time talking about that, and they came up afterwards, and some other guys too, about how to do that and what does it mean. And so it was just really lovely to talk about civics with really bright kids that were trying to figure it out before they have to apply for college. So that was one, and the other I want to invite everyone to, but I'm also on this Saturday, the 20th, we're putting on an event for Build the Future, and I'm one of the panelists representing Build the Future, San Jose Unified, and us here at the commission, talking about how Alameda County, we're doing a film screening of a film called Clarissa's Battle. It's how Alameda County passed a revenue measure, to ensure that they could fund quality, affordable childcare for all. and their particular journey. It's a documentary. It's been going all around the documentary circuit. They've been in Ireland. They've been everywhere. So we're really lucky to have them there. We have a panel. We have some food, 1 to 5, some food. We'll be done before the Niners game, I promise. The movie, and then the panel discussion. The panel discussion is the filmmaker, Clarissa Dothard, who the documentary is done about and is the executive director of Parent Voices Oakland, Susan Ellenberg, Vice Mayor Kamei, myself, Veronica Goey, and the Vice President of Student Services of Mission College. We're having it at Mission College. And the thing about Mission College that's really exciting is their board passed childcare for all employees for free, and they reopened their child development lab. And so we really want to highlight that, and that's why we chose to show this particular movie there. It's a free event. All our friends will be there. You're all invited. Go to Build the Future. I didn't even bring it. I'm like so sad of myself. Build the Future, scc.org, or talk to Angelica, because she's also working on it with me. So that's it.
Any questions or comments for Commissioner Lahey?
It's free. It's free. It's free. With food.
Other announcements and meetings attended by commissioners as commissioners? All right, San Jose Public Library Foundation Board update.
So over the winter break, I sent out a wonderfully a donation ask to everyone. So I'm really glad that that I was able to get it out because of the holidays. So thank you to all for those who donated. But in response to that, that end of year campaign for 2023 exceeded the goal by over 80%. And again, many thanks to those of you who were able to donate even a little bit. So there will be a free legacy literacy workshop at 3 p.m. on January 25th at the Barry S. Branch Library. For those who want to learn more about the estate planning and their personal legacy. So free is good, like free is my motto. Free is great. Yeah. That's all I got for you all.
Questions or comments? Questions or comments regarding our San Jose Public Library Foundation? Thank you for your service. All right, going on to our next item, information and upcoming opportunities for commission participation. As a reminder, to see our full program calendar, www.sjpl.org. Number 11, items for future commission meeting agendas. Any future commission? All right, we will move on to our last item, which is the conclusion of this meeting. As a reminder, folks, our next meeting will be the 21st at 7 p.m. at Dr. Roberto Cruz Alum Rock Branch Library. I will see you all there. Thank you so much for everything that you're doing. Thank you for your time, and Happy New Year, everybody. Adjourn this meeting at 8:30.